So when I was 3 years old, I had an ET experience. I thought it was a recurring dream where he would come sit on the side of my bed. He looked just like this guy. Perry is what I named him. And he would say, "We're going to take you away for the evening into my spacecraft, and then I'll have you back before school starts in the morning." So that happened every day.
This was a telepathic message, of course, because they haven't got vocal cords. Did you hear it with any accent in your mind?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. Go on.
I just don't remember. But I didn't know they didn't have vocal cords. I would have thought I was just hearing him talk to me.
Well, you are, but they don't have vocal cords.
I'm just hearing it in my head.
Yeah, so I was curious whether you were hearing it with an accent, like an American accent or a British accent, or whether it had no accent at all. And I think you'll find it had no accent at all. You just remember the words.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't remember any inflection in the voice or anything. I just remember the words. Right? So
that's good.
That went on for about a year. And then that happened, I just forgot about it because I'm like, it was just a recurring dream that I had. And then a year ago, exactly, it was April 2020. He came back and I was lying in bed and I was just relaxing. I could feel the presence of someone. I'm like, what? Like someone's in my room, and I got this voice again. It's like, "I'm the one that used to visit you when you were 3 years old. And I took you to my spacecraft. We did tests on you. I just want to thank you for being so cooperative and working with us. And I'm here for you. If you need anything, let me know." But I'm not good at getting information. So I got that much, and then I can feel his presence, but I don't understand what he's trying to tell me.
Okay, right. The pressure on the bed, did the pressure on the bed feel greater than the physical mass of that being?
The pressure on the bed?
You said did he sit on the bed?
Oh, when I was 3, but I didn't feel that this time. I just felt presence, just energy.
Okay, all right. So you didn't physically or with your third eye see him recently. You were just aware of his presence in the room.
Yep.
Okay. And when you were younger, did you see any spacecraft that you can remember?
Yeah, I felt like it was making it up, but we would go through the window of my bedroom up to the sky, and just be this huge, like took up the whole sky, this spacecraft.
Okay. When you went through the from the bedroom, did you go through the window or through the wall?
The window. Excellent.
Good. And do you actually remember going into the spacecraft in the same way through the wall?
No, my memory went out as soon as I would enter into the...
Right, so they blanked your memory out. Okay, that's classic. You see, why that's really important is that it's very difficult for them to lift you or anybody through physical structure like a brick wall. And they will always attempt to lift you through a pane of glass or a window because it offers least resistance to the molecular structure. So that's a classic. Did he hold your hand when
Yes.
you were being taken?
Yep.
Normally do so. That is to maintain control of your mind, because the panic that can set in. I have exactly the same memories many times, but not with that particular being. And I have one memory of passing through the wall of the spacecraft, and it was very unpleasant. It was like I actually felt going through a solid substance, but I felt nothing going through the window of what would be the bedroom. And on one occasion, I wasn't very well because the speed with which I was drawn was too quickly. So what you've described is an absolute classic take. Something that you will not find really online, because only people who have genuinely experienced it can speak as you have. So you are 100% genuine. Now you might say to me, "Simon, I don't need you to tell me I'm genuine. I know I'm genuine." But I've got a ton of experiences, and I've met so many people who are fake. I will say to them, "Okay, you met a reptilian. How many fingers has it got? Okay, you tell me you've met a reptilian. You describe how it walks." And they can't, because they made it up. You have just told me exactly the truth. So here's the deal here for you, is that they have treated you with respect. They have not treated you as they treat so many people, badly. They've actually bothered to talk to you and explain things to you, which means that you have been of particular interest to them. And I once spoke to, I don't like greys, I have to tell you, I don't get on well with them. And I once said to a grey, telepathically, of course, because you can't use your mouth, I said, why are you so, so he may look cute, but I don't like greys. And I said to the grey, now you'd have to do that because their ears are just little holes.
Okay, now go ahead.
Why don't you talk to people when you've got them on the gurney? Why aren't you talking to them? You know, why you they're asking you questions and you're not responding, and that makes the human feel that they're almost in some sort of bloody zoo and they're really being tortured. And in some cases they are, but in most cases they're not. And the answer was very interesting. It was a shock answer, which was, well, we don't talk to them because they're not supposed to remember. In other words, why would we talk to them when we're going to wipe their memory? So when they go back, they haven't got a clue. And the guy I was talking to, was a male, was shocked that so many people were actually having recall and remembering what had happened. Now, in your case, it specifically come back, told you that, and done it in a way that you were meant to remember it. So that's empowerment. And that means that your experiences are not frightening or fearful because they have engaged with you. But in other cases, for people, it is frightening because they're not explained what's going on. So thank you for sharing that. And I really deeply appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. I love when I felt his presence in the room, I started crying because I felt like it was a long lost friend. Like I love him. He's just a part of my family. That's how it felt. And that's how it feels right now.
Well, the thing is, you see, that you could have been engaged with this creature for many generations, hundreds of thousands of years. Each time you reincarnate on the planet, this being will have come to you. Remember, that's a cloned body. So they live for about 2,000 years. Then they will be placed into another cloned body. Well, you know, over 2,000 years, you may have incarnated here many times. So it is a friend of your family. It's a close friend. Because it's got more than a brother or a sister, because it has that history with you. So yeah, absolutely, I get
That's so cool. I know. I want to be better about communicating. Like I want to understand. Like I feel like he's trying to tell me things, and I just don't get it.
Okay. Well, we can't always because they don't sometimes pitch the right answers or the right way they want to talk to us, and it just goes over our head. But they always. When they're trying to do stuff in detail, they'll provide color. For instance, if I say to you, hey, listen, I'd like to meet you 5 o'clock this afternoon at the store and we'll get a coffee. If I send you a picture of the number 5 and you and me having a coffee, that's much quicker. And so what they'll often do is they will communicate in colors and images. The only time that you'll see in your mind text is names, because some of them have the most impossible names. You can't pronounce them. But yeah, that's why they communicate in plain language. So if you were German, you'd get in German, you know, because you got it in English. If you were Japanese, you get it in Japanese. They can just translate really quick.
All right. I need to practice that. Okay. We have a question here. Are you saying that greys are not good?
Oh, I'm saying there are two. There are more than one sort of grey. The greys that are operated by the Special Access Military are robotic greys that operate for the military. That's one group. The other greys work for the reptilians and other more advanced aliens. And then there is a small group of greys that have a soul in their body, and they're much more spiritual, and they are independent and separate. So the greys, you can't just say that. There are many different groupings, but the independent group is very small. And I don't know from what you've said which group engaged with you.
Very lovely.
Yeah, well, I've met, greys can be very difficult. I'll give you an example where I've been in an underground facility, and there have been 5 or 6 humans, men and women, just sitting on the floor in a tunnel, and a grey standing there. And I've come along and I've said to the grey, what are these people doing here? Now, in English, in our culture, that's your culture and my culture, what I'm actually asking you is, what the hell are you doing with these people? Right? So that's what that means. What are these people doing here? And if you were American or British, you'd say to me, well, we're waiting for the transport. Or, hey, listen, my superiors told me to keep these people here. Okay? So my question was, what are these people doing here? The grey replied, sitting on the floor, right? Being difficult with me. So they will be like that. And they will also, when they return people, they'll often return them to the wrong house, or they'll return them outside, or they'll return them with their clothes on inside out, or no clothes at all. And these are greys that are mischievous, troublemaking, difficult. But there are other greys which are very respectful and have a connection with the individual that they work with.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And this person is asking your experience. So so my experience that I explained, you have same ones. You've had similar?
Well, my first experience was before I was born, but my physical experience from six months old. So what you guys would call a mantis, in Britain we call them mantid. We call them the draconis, the white reptilians with the wings and the tail. The greys, I don't like the greys. The greys, the 𝐒𝐞𝐥𝐲, which you might call the lion beings, the flying lions. Different beings that have non-organic bodies, like a crystalline type creature. A whole ton of beings over many years, and they still continue to this day. But it is when I was 5 years old, I had to choose who I wanted as mentor. Was it to be a reptilian to be my mentor, or a mantis to be my mentor? And I chose a mantis because I find the reptilian creatures very difficult creatures indeed.
Mm. So at 5 years old?
Yes.
You were choosing a mentor?
Yes.
Because they were all visiting you and you wanted to choose one to work with?
I didn't want to choose them, but they made me choose one. That was what was offered. That's right. So I had to choose, and they both put their pitch in, and I remember choosing, and I said to the mantis, "Did you know that I would choose you?" And he replied, "If you have eyes to see and ears to hear, then you would know," which meant, yes, it was always a done deal, simply because I found the reptilians offensive. I don't think I can really associate with creatures that have such a low opinion of humanity, whereas the mantis was much more middle of the road.
So you still, to this day, keep in is it a regular conversation you'll have with the mantis?
Reasonably regularly, yeah. It still occurs, but I'm so fixated on the work I have to do that it's no big deal anymore. Sort of 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, it was a really big deal. But now it's not, because, I know what I'm here to do and I have to get on and do it.
So spiritually speaking, and I do have a couple other questions before we go, but spiritually speaking, where are we in the spiritual warfare? Like where are we going into 5D, and where are we now in the process?
Well, what the bad guys are doing is slowing us up. They are successfully slowing us up. They can't stop it, but they are successfully holding us back, and I'm not happy about that. Nobody who's a light worker or knows what's going on can be happy about it. And the problem we've got is there's such a mass of people who, out of fear, are not choosing to embrace the truth. And so we've got a very small group, relatively speaking, of spiritual people who are free of the system. And it would be a very great shame if only 20% of the entire population actually made it, transitioned into a 5G environment, beg your pardon, a 5D environment, whereas you've got, that shows what I'm fighting. Whereas at the moment, it's not, it's just would be terrible. If we can get more like 40% of people into the fifth dimension, or the values of the fifth dimension, that would be a great success. But that's what I meant when I said that the white hats are concerned, because the take-up of the truth is much less than they envisaged when they hit upon this plan many years ago. So yes, definitely, those who are meant to transition will, but I would much rather a larger core group of people making it through.
So they say the golden age is 2032, and by then everyone will be fully in a 5D planet. People will be living in 5D.
Well, perhaps getting this a bit confused. The Nasara is 1,000 years of peace. You see, wars are created generally through lack of resources or greed. Well, if you have control of the Earth's economy and you're a good guy, then you can ensure that there is no lack and there's no reason for war. And so part of this plan is to ensure that there are no wars and 1,000 years of peace. So when we talk about a golden age, we're talking about the destruction of evil and the triumph of good over evil, which there's a battle to come. The battle's about 7 years away, and there's a battle between good and evil in the true sense. I'm not going to get all religious on you, but in the true sense of the Bible, a real battle between good and evil, which we're fighting now, but will be manifest in 7 years. And then we have the potential for many lifetimes of a really beautiful, peaceful world.
Okay, so the next, till 2000, you said the next 7 years? Is that what you just said?
I'm saying that in 7 years' time, there will be a bit of a thing, yeah.
Okay, so is it going to be kind of a rocky road between now and then?
No, it won't be, because the bad guys are going to take such a beating that they'll go underground, and then they'll emerge and try it on then. So it'll be quite a smooth road, but then they'll just emerge from nowhere.
Simon, so do you know anything about Elon Musk?
Yeah, many people thought he was a bad guy. He's actually a good guy.
Okay.
Elon Musk was a bad guy, and then had a 2-hour meeting with President Trump in the White House. And that changed everything. And then Elon Musk has been launching satellites for the Trump team, and a number of the satellites up in space, and those satellites are
Simon. Well, I know you guys can comment on the website. That's good. I
was encouraged by a person who was very well known in the military to draw what my experience. See, my experiences don't come as dreams; they were real time. So I would have an experience and I'd remember it immediately. So I would live it in real time. So what I'd do first of all is I'd do stick drawings, little stick drawings first, get the whole lot down and the dialogue, and then at a later date, maybe 2 or 3 days later, I would then draw them out properly. But I needed to get it down because it was so much. So great detail. I've got something like 10,000 drawings, which one day when I retire, I'll do a book and I'll publish it. But the mantis do not walk like a mantis insect. Let's get it straight. They actually walk like a person. So they have a proper pelvis and they walk upright. And some of these drawings are ridiculous, where they're seen like an insect. They don't, because they have to pilot craft. So they are humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs. Some of the hands are different on some of the species, but the feet different. There are 3 groups of mantis. It's a 3-tier hierarchy. The top tiers they have a job title. They're called master, M-A-S-T-E-R, meaning master of the universe. And if you think there have been lots of toys and cartoons made after it, there's no coincidence. And these guys wear a purple robe, and they are the referees for the fourth dimension universe, where there's an issue, they go and they're an arbiter. They're like a referee. Then the next one under them are the computer operators, and then below them are the doctors. I think I got it right. There are three cores: the medical core, and then the technical core, and then you've got the managerial core. And that's the group. And they have a very strong connection to the earth, and they are quite tied in with humanity. Some of them can be very negative, but the vast majority are positive, because they don't want to be trapped in the fourth dimension. The moment they are trapped in the fourth, and they want to break free from it, and they want to therefore learn and change. So I'll do a drawing. What I'm saying is, if you get me back, I'll happily sit here and hold some of these drawings up that I've done for you. And you can have a look. And I've got some that are reptilian as well, so you can have a look at that. And in Britain, we call them a work surface. What do you call it in the kitchen where you prepare food? What do you call that?
The island?
Okay, you call it an island. Okay, we don't call it that. We call it a work surface. So it's 3 feet off the floor. So I know the height of these creatures, because when they come in, their head was in line with what you'd call the island, the work surface. So they were 3 feet tall, except there was about 8 of them. One was female. All the rest were male, one female, and she was slightly shorter, by about an inch shorter. So yeah, I've got a few drawings, and that's interesting as well.
I want to see the drawings. We'll definitely have you back and do that. And are they cute as this guy?
No.
Aww.
They're not ugly. You know, the lenses, of course, the big eyes are lenses, because when they're in the spacecraft, they have to see in infrared and ultraviolet. And so the lenses allow them to communicate with the craft. So that's not their eye, that's just a lens covering. But depending on what they've been spliced with, some of them will have an eye like a fly. So lots of different lenses. Some will have a reptilian, like a cat eye. Some of them will have a more round eye, depending. But these are the more attractive greys. There are greys that humans find repulsive or very scary, and that's when the face is quite thin and drawn in, and looks, you know, quite frightening. Yeah. But well, no, they're the cute looking ones.
I love it. I was kind of hoping I'd be able to see, like, with disclosure coming, like, when are people going to be able to see them? Like, I thought I would have first dibs because I have a relationship with one.
But you have seen them. But you have seen them.
When I was 3.
No, it's come back to you recently. Look, you're only remembering some of it. Don't tell me that's all. If you went through proper regression, you would actually get a ton of memories back. Don't tell me these creatures have come trillions and trillions and trillions of miles just for one or two. They've been working with you all your life. It's just that you remember the beginning and the end. All that is back. There's a ton of stuff there. You would be like me. You could do loads of drawings. You'd actually get all the memories back. It'd be really exciting.
All right, you're going to have to work with me on that and help me.
Yeah, sure. I do that with yes, of course, I do it with a lot of people. You know, that's one of the jobs. You know, I didn't just create connecting consciousness. You know, for the last 10 years, I've worked with a whole range of people who've had some very challenging issues. But of course, only in Great Britain, only one newspaper covered it. In the United States, not one newspaper covered it. They've gone public. It's actually out there online. What happened was the Pentagon set a guy up to write a question. This is about 2 months ago, under Freedom of Information. So they set this guy up. He wrote in and he said, is Roswell true? Is it all true? And they wrote back. And that letter's been published. And as I say, only one British newspaper covered it. And on that letter, and it's online, go look, it says, we have recovered spacecraft. We have back-engineered alien spacecraft. That is from the Pentagon. It's there. We know it. But of course, nobody wanted to cover it, because if you start doing that, then you start asking questions which lead right through to the cabal.
Of course, of course. Well, hopefully this year and the next couple of years, it'll be more public in the United States anyway, you think?
I hope so.
we'll be able to see.
See, look. If I put, I know you want to go in a minute, but if I put a spacecraft a mile across over every city in America and left it there for 2 days, and then took them away again, nobody would believe it. They'd all say they'd had a bad beer. But if a guy comes on CNN and he's wearing a shirt and a tie, and he says, "I want to tell you that aliens are real," everyone will believe it. And so we have to think about how we engage the truth with people.
So true. I know. People are addicted to the fake news. I don't get it.
It's not their fault. They've had thousands of years of being blamed, fished through to find all the nonsense. So The Matrix was really good. Star Trek, some of the Gene Roddenberry only did Star Trek because when he was on an internal flight between States and America, a flying craft, an alien flying saucer, flew right up by the side of the airplane. They all looked out the window, saw it. Gene Roddenberry then went and did his own research, joined a UFO club, connected with people in the Pentagon, and that's why he created Star Trek. It was meant to happen. So many people get a stimulus or a push to do something. But the trouble is that Hollywood come and take it and they dilute it.
I like it. Oh, this is fun. All right. Thank you guys for watching.